Hi everyone, I'm Jacob. I'm a software engineer at Blazity, and welcome back to the channel. Great performance means nothing if user can't find your site. In this video we'll cover how to handle SEO in the Next.js App Router, from using generateMetadata for titles and descriptions to setting up dynamic sitemaps and Robots.txt, plus adding alternates and open graph tags to boost discoverability. Let's get started. We are going to improve SEO for this Next.js blog application, and let's start with the basics. So let's set up title and description for some pages. Right now, as you can see, when you check out the title tag, when we change the page, the titles stay the same, and that's because we have set it up one metadata object for the layout, so it's applied for every single route right now. So we can actually do the same for the articles page, since this is also a static page, like this. Let's import the type and hit save. And as you can see right now, when we refresh the page and check out the head again, we are able to see that the new title has been applied for this page, and for the home page we have the same. So that's how we can add the title and metadata for static pages. That's how it works for the static routes. But what if, for example, we have a dynamic route, like for example an article page? For this case, we need to use something very similar to generate static params, and we have a function called generateMetadata. And this is an async function that gets params, and we can actually use the same logic as for an article page itself. So we can get a slug and get paused by this slug, and then we can return the same object, metadata object, as we can declare for the static pages. So when we hit save right now, we are able to see that title has changed, and also when we change the article, for example, we can go to TypeScript setup, we can see that it also has changed based on the slug. But we can also move a step further, and if, for example, in the future our application will support multiple language, we are able to generate an alternates. So we can have a canonical URL and different URLs for multiple languages. In this case, it's English and Spanish. So we already can see that it generates a link for canonical and 2 links for alternates. And we can also create an open graph and Twitter tags. So in this case, for the OG, when we try to share it via some social media, and for the Twitter. So as you can see, it generates a lot of metadata tags, in this case OG title, OG description, and OG image, and metadata for Twitter. And also, as you can see here, it says that post is possibly undefined, so we can also create an exception here and set up the title, description, and other metadata for the not found page, where this article is not found. So we can also check it out. So when we say something that does not exist, we are able to see that the title of this page is article not found. What is also very important for SEO is a sitemap. So we can actually generate them in a couple of ways in Next.js. First, let's see how we can do it for the static pages. In this case, we have the home page and articles page. So we can just create a file called sitemap in the root of our application, and then we can export default function sitemap, and then in an array we can just define our static pages, and it will be available in the sitemap.xml as a static file. For dynamic pages, we can actually create something very similar. So we can have a sitemap ts, in this case in a blog route folder, and then we can asynchronously get those posts and generate a sitemap items for every single post. So we can access them very similar, but in a /blog and /sitemap.xml. So this is also the static file, but in a different route. So when we open this page, we are able to see that it actually generates an URL for every single article. What is also very important, Google accepts 50,000 of URLs per sitemap. So for example, when we have 100,000 of blog posts or products in our application, we will need to create a pagination. So we can create something called generate sitemaps, and in this case we just return an array of 3 items, but in the real world scenario we will just get those items from the database and then like divide them into the chunks, but we can do it like this for this case, and then we will get those ID, and this is the promise number. Okay, and then we can set that const index await ID, and we can set up the start. Let's say this is only for 2 URLs per sitemap, and end it's start +2. Okay, so we can use the slice and hit save, and right now the sitemap pages, let's say, will be available in a sitemap / for example 0.xml, and it's return only 2 URLs. So the last thing that I would like to show you is how we can generate a robots.txt. So we can do it very similar to sitemap. So we can create a file called robots.ts in the root of our application, and then export default function robots, and then we can set up some rules. So when we hit save and we'll try to access the file /robots.txt, we are able to see the generated file based on this setup that we have in this robots.ts file. Strong SEO is just one piece of building high-performing Next.js apps. For a complete set of strategies how to optimize speed and user experience, download the expert guide to Next.js performance optimization, free from Blazity. Link is in the comments. Thank you for watching, stay tuned, and see you in the next video.